Aurora is a cloud-hosted, fully managed distribution of Islandora. Islandora is open source and extremely flexible. You can host it yourself and you can customize it to do almost anything that you want to do. However, there is an operational trade-off. You will need a technical team for hosting, for security patches, for upgrades, or for developing new features. Aurora removes that complexity. Aurora is the same Islandora platform, which is pre-configured to cover the vast majority of GLAM use cases out of the box, with hosting, security, support, and ongoing feature development handled by us so that your team can focus on creating collections, putting new content, and getting more people to discover that content. When we provision Aurora for an institution, this is the landing page that you start with: a header, some configurable front page content, and a footer. Everything on this page is configurable. So the header, the logos, the color, navigation menu, the featured collection shown here. You can add a descriptive text content block if you need it, the footer links, and the menu here. All of this is configurable. The structure, header, body, footer, stays consistent, so end users always know where to find something when they're searching or navigating through your collections. You can also create any number of static pages. About page here is an example. This is configurable text content, which is useful for creating static pages such as policies, contact information, usage guidelines, or anything else that you would expect on an institutional site. The search bar appears on every page and is in the same location so that people know where to look for things. Aurora is also WCAG 2.2 AA compliant out of the box. We have a publicly available VPAT so that you can see exactly which criteria are met and at what conformance level. If you have procurement or accessibility policies to satisfy, this is exactly what you need. Now let's look at search. I will do an empty search for this particular thing. An empty search results everything in the repository. In this demo instance, there are 55 objects in this repository. On the right are the results. On the left are the facets. Facets are generated automatically from the metadata on your objects. Control vocabulary and fixed value fields such as subjects, genre, date, formats, etc. become facets by default. All of these facets are configurable. You can reorder them, hide defaults, or expose new facets if you have new metadata fields. A date range facet is also generated automatically from the date created field. At the top of this area, you can change the number of results that you display per page. You can switch between this list view or a grid view, which is for image intensive collections, for example, a collection of photographs. You also have sort options, which allow you to sort by relevance, date, and title. From the search here, users can either search the entire site like I just did, or you can narrow it down to a top level collection through this drop down. So you can select one of the top level collections here and just search within that collection. For researchers who know what they're looking for, we also have advanced search, which supports Boolean queries across fields. So now that I'm on the advanced search page, you can pick a field from the dropdown, search for a value or for the absence of a value, and you can combine any number of these fields using an AND or an OR operator. This is the feature that power users discover once, and then they start researching using advanced search. Now the Browse Collections page lists all top-level collections in your repository. This is similar to your search page, except that this is just collections. You can still switch between the list or the grid view. Once I click on a collection, it'll take me to the collection landing page. The collection landing page looks similar to the search results page, with a list of members on the right, facets on the left. There are two significant additions. The metadata, title, and descriptive metadata appear here. So you can display your collection metadata on the collection landing page. The other thing to note is that the search bar is now scoped to this collection by default, and users will be able to search within this collection while on the collection landing page. You can still toggle this and go back and search within the entire collection, but the default on collection landing pages is the scoped collection search. Now, Islandora places no hard limit on collection hierarchy depth, which means that a collection can contain any number of sub-collections. I will show you a sub-collection right here. So this is a sub-collection inside another collection. A sub-collection is identical to a collection. The only difference is its membership. The breadcrumb at the top shows the full ancestry, and users can traverse back up at any level. Because we do not restrict the hierarchies in a collection and a sub-collection, this is especially useful for archival workflows that need to mirror real-world arrangements like font, series, subseries, files, etc. Now I'll go back to the About page where we have a list of all of the content types that we support. Every object in Aurora uses a consistent landing page. If I go to this object here, let me open all of these. So there's a consistent landing page where you would have a breadcrumb, the title and the social share buttons, a viewer. This would change based on the type of content you are viewing. This is an image, so it's a standard embedded image viewer. There is a download button. This is shown or hidden based on access restrictions that you've applied on the content. The permalink, which is automatically generated, and the metadata. There are 55 metadata fields in Aurora by default. These are mods and DC aligned, along with a few ETD fields. You can also add custom fields if you need. We try to restrict them to not be more than 5 or 10 fields, but you could add custom fields if you require them. Now this is an image. Aurora supports 3 image viewers. Mirador is the default because it's modern, it's actively maintained, and IIIF native, but the others are available if you need them. This is a basic viewer. It's an embedded image with no zoom controls. It's useful for flat content like maps or diagrams, which you want inline on your page. The other viewer that we have is the OpenSea Dragon viewer. This does have deep zoom and tiling with rotation and print controls. It was the Islandora default before we added the Mirador viewer. Now the Mirador viewer is the default viewer in Islandora right now. It has a IIIF URL, which you can drop into any IIIF compliant viewer on any other site and get the image and the metadata rendered identically to this format. So this image and all of these metadata fields, which are mapped in the IIIF manifest, would be available to be used in any other IIIF viewer also. You also have image manipulation controls such as brightness, contrast, rotation, etc. You also have gallery display when you have multiple canvases for a particular object. The rest of the structure for this page is similar. You will see that the control vocabulary values automatically link out to a list page with all of the things tagged with this control vocabulary. So your metadata is linked by default and it's not just descriptive text. Now, the other content types that we support are documents. These are PDFs that you upload into your repository. These are rendered using the PDF.js viewer. It is an open source viewer from Mozilla. When you ingest a PDF, Aurora automatically generates derivatives. These would be thumbnails, which are generated through ImageMagick, and then extracted text, which is generated through OCR, through Tesseract OCR. This extracted text is indexed and searchable, so both within the document and as well as from the site-wide search. If I search for something here, for example, family, it will highlight where the family is in this document. You can also view the OCR output here, see if it is accurate or not, edit it, or you can even replace it entirely if you have better transcriptions. For example, manually corrected transcripts. Or if you have a transcript that you outsourced and a vendor has produced it, you can upload those transcripts instead of using the automatically generated OCR. Now, the next content type that we support is books. Books are paged content. Each page is its own image type. So typically high resolution TIFFs, JP2s, or JPEGs, and they're grouped together into a book object. Books render using the Mirador viewer, with each page rendered inside of the paged content view. So you can toggle between these. You can also use the two-page book view mode to view this content like a book. As you can see, it's now a two-page display. You can also go full screen if you want to read things here. Because each page here is an image, Aurora generates OCR and HOCR for each page. HOCR preserves the word bounding boxes, which lets us highlight search matches directly on the page image. So if I search for something here, and this is me searching for preface, you will see that it gets highlighted here wherever it is in the book. You can see the matches highlighted in place with the count and per page navigation. You can also upload your own OCR and HOCR if you have high quality transcriptions similar to documents. But just be careful with HOCR since the coordinate data is responsible for highlighting, and the highlighting may break if you edit that. You'll also notice there is no download link here. That's because this is an access restricted content where the download is access restricted for non-logged in users. I'm not logged in, so I cannot download this object. Now we have newspapers. Newspapers are structurally similar to books. They are also displayed using the Mirador viewer. Each page is an image which is grouped into an issue. However, newspapers get this additional landing page where all the issues are arranged chronologically. This is auto-generated from the date created or the date published field. Issues are organized by year and then by month. And then you can go view the object itself. Individual issues are, as I mentioned, rendered using Mirador. So this is Mirador. This has HOCR as well as OCR, and you can search within this content. So if I do search for something, you can see that it will get highlighted across all of the pages. All right, going back to our content type, the next one is compound objects. Some repositories call these complex objects. Aurora groups multiple different media types into a single logical unit called a compound object. Typical uses for these types of objects involve ETDs, where you have supplementary datasets, appendices, or offprints, abstracts, for articles, etc. This can also be used for oral histories, where you would have an audio, a transcript, and maybe related images. Within a compound object, each object renders in whatever viewer is appropriate to its type. So this is a document and it's rendered using a PDF.js viewer. If a component's format is not renderable in a viewer, for example, an Excel file for which we do not have a viewer, it'll be available for download. For the metadata, users can switch between item level metadata, which is for the currently selected component, or the set level metadata, which is for the whole compound object. This is available on each of these object pages. So the item metadata is selected by default, but you could toggle and view the compound metadata as well. The other two media types that we support are audio and video. Audio and video are rendered in Video.js with two supported models. You could have locally hosted audio and video. For these, the file is uploaded directly into Aurora and it is served from the repository. You have standard playback controls such as speed and download. This was an audio, this is a video. Both of these support VTT transcripts. So if you do have a VTT transcript, you can upload the transcript while you're uploading the audio or the video, and it will get synced with the video or audio that you're playing in your browser. The other type of audio and video that we support is remotely hosted. This is where your file lives in a third-party platform such as Caldera, YouTube, or any platform that supports OEmbed. The file streams into Aurora. The metadata lives in the repository, so discovery still happens through Aurora, but the media itself is served from your streaming platform. This is great for institutes who have existing video on demand infrastructure. You don't really have to migrate your media, only catalog it. These are all the content types supported right now. 3D objects are supported in our enterprise offering and are on the roadmap to be moved to Aurora. This would support GLB and GLTF formats and would be available later this year. Now, Aurora has very flexible relationships, which means that objects can belong to multiple collections or compound objects at the same time without any duplication. Only the relationship changes. Your objects will appear in multiple collections, but they will not be duplicated. You also have access restriction methods in Aurora for different use cases. For example, you have date-based embargoes where you can set a release date and time. The object will be restricted until that date and then becomes public automatically. This is useful for pre-publication content or recent acquisitions that have clauses for embargoes. We also have IP-based embargo restrictions. This restricts access to a specific IP range. A common use case would be if you want something to be accessible only from your campus or only from your reading room. This does not require a login. As long as you're accessing the material from this IP range, you will be able to view the object. Then you also have role-based access controls. You can control what an anonymous user or a logged-in user sees in your repository. You would have metadata-only records, where anonymous users can see the metadata for the object, search for the object, but they would not be able to see the file. You will have to log in to see the file. You have limited access, where you cannot access this at all if you're not logged in, but even if you're logged in, you can download these objects and search these objects. Then you have differential access. Here you do have the object as well as the metadata, but you do not have a download link, so you're not able to download this. You would have to be logged in to download. And you finally have the admin only records, where only admin can view or find these objects. When you ingest content into Aurora, it sends it to a set of microservices that we run to create derivatives automatically. These are Tesseract, which is used to generate OCR and HCR, ImageMagick, which is used to generate thumbnails or for your low-res access copies for your images, FFmpeg for audio and video access copies, Cantaloupe as a IIIF image server. You don't have to configure any of this. It is automatically triggered when you ingest content. Now, other than this, Aurora also provides APIs for interoperability and integrations. There is an OAI PMH endpoint that's available out of the box, so that aggregators like DPLA and WorldCat can harvest your repository without needing any custom work at all. We have a default Dublin core mapping. This is what most harvesters expect, so it just works with DPLA, for example. We're also working on a mods mapping if you need that. Aurora also supports Google Analytics, so you can give us your GA ID and we'll wire it in. You can track your usage, downloads, searches. Any search or usage metric can be tracked through Google Analytics. Aurora also exposes a REST API for programmatic access and integration with external systems. You can build custom front ends, feed into discovery layers on top of the repository, or sync data with other platforms. For login, Aurora supports both local username and password as well as SSO. So to give you a brief recap of everything we talked about till now, Aurora gives you a standards aligned, accessibility compliant, IIIF native repository with the full range of GLAM content types, from images, documents, books, newspapers, compound objects, audio, video, as well as flexible collections, granular access controls, and out-of-the-box interoperability. All of this is hosted, maintained, and supported by us, so you do not have to worry about maintaining the software. We'll share this demo URL after the call so you can click through at your own pace, browse around, go to the About page. I'd be happy to go through any of these sections in more details if you need that.